MacArthur's forces bypass Rabaul and draw closer to the Philippines. The 1st Cavalry pours into Los Negros in the Admiralties, 200 miles north of Madang. The first surprise assault drove the Japs into the jungle, and our troops advanced with few casualties. But later, the going got tougher. Yanks withstood heavy counterattacks by the enemy, reinforced by nips from nearby Manos Island. But strategic Mamote airfield was soon in our hands. Later, we captured the one on Manos. During the night, the Japs infiltrated our lines, and the next day, the mop-up began. Medical Corps units care for our wounded. Blood plasma is administered as Signal Corps cameras record the progress of battle. Many Japs remain entrenched in almost impregnable positions. Escape for them was impossible. Many of them set off hand grenades against their bodies, resorting to Hara Kiri rather than surrender. In one heap, our newsreel cameraman counted 71 dead nips. From the condition of the bodies, the guess was that nearly 50% chose suicide. Another island spearhead pointed toward Tokyo. Sergeant Charles E. Kelly of Pittsburgh is well named the one-man army. In one busy day on the Italian front, he killed 40 Germans using all these weapons, volunteered for 3 patrols, and covered the retreat of his platoon. Signal Corps pictures show the fighting sergeant receiving the Congressional Medal of Honor from General Clark. The ceremony was held somewhere in North Africa. Don't get the name wrong, folks. It's Kelly. Of the thousands of pictures made by the press photographers of New York, the cream goes on exhibition at their annual show. Prize exhibits are spot news shots, perfect examples of the press photographer's ability in the heat of fast-changing action. The lens of the giant camera at the exhibition reflects some of the outstanding pictures of the past. There are many here that you probably remember. So nice to come home to. This is Mrs. Emma Van Kooteren with 12 children in service. And you can be sure that sports are well represented. Governor Dewey awards first prize to Pat Candido for his Harlem riot scene. The problem of supply to isolated Burmese jungle outposts is neatly solved by planes of the Carrier Command, a tricky and hazardous operation. The chutes must be dropped from low altitudes to avoid being lost in the thick jungle. These men have become almost as expert as bombers in hitting the small clearings. Here's a real shot right on the button, as these Air Force pictures show. This is real manna from heaven.
Five flight nurses at Guadalcanal take the spotlight, while members of the 13th Air Force line up in tribute, as they received the Air Medal and oak leaf clusters from General Hubert Harmon. Lieutenant Margaret Rickey of Abilene, Texas, Lieutenant Joyce Boivert of Champion, Michigan, Lieutenant Dorothy Tchaikovsky of Green Lake, Wisconsin, Lieutenant Mary Muckerheide of Milwaukee, and Lieutenant Geraldine Jones of Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. Heroines all.
The Army's versatile carbine has now been adapted to launch grenades. They have a devastating effect on enemy tanks. And now, meet Punch and Power on Wheels, an armored killer that has long been kept secret by the Army. Built by Ford, this new vehicle, the M8, combines the speed and maneuverability of an automobile with the protection of a light tank in its armor plate. Powered through all 6 wheels, this 7-ton monster will be able to negotiate bombed-out Berlin streets. An exciting week of basketball at Madison Square Garden comes to its explosive climax with DePaul of Chicago meeting St. John's of Brooklyn in the finals. St. John's gets hold of the ball and the heavy action is on. The boys are willing to die for their alma mammies. Before game time, DePaul was favored to win by 7 points. St. John bats the ball around now and they score. Now the Westerners show some of the fancy ball handling that has brought them to the finals. And sure enough, with a little fancy but thorough teamwork, they get one. It's action like this that makes basketball the leading indoor spectator sport in America. One more for St. John's. After seesaw action, DePaul gets hold of the ball and they put it right where they want it. St. John, winner of last year's tournament, upsets the dope this year by copping this thriller 47-39.